Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing a tier list of every single Fortnite season since starting with chapter 5, season 4. This season looks very interesting to look at, as based off the previous Marvel season, one considered to most one of the greatest seasons of all time, actually, chapter 2, season 4. I'm really hyped about this season, considering I didn't play the other Marvel season. I'm really interested to see where they do with this, as it looks like they have a great battle pass, and Doom is coming back to the game, but in a different form. And it'll be interesting. I don't know that much about it, but because it hasn't come out yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Right now, for me, this season has to go in A tier. I can't put it in goated. I'm putting it in A tier because I feel like it's going to be a good season. Now, without any thought, I'm not even going to cover this one. It doesn't even this season doesn't even earn the right for me to talk about it for more than 5 seconds. This season is the worst season of all time. And if there's anyone who actually likes the season, then you are a total bot. No offense. All right, now skipping from that season to chapter 5, season 2. This was a great season overall. Now, is it a top season of all time? The gameplay the thing about the season is the gameplay was pretty decent. The wings were kind of mid. I'm gonna be honest. The wings were pretty mid. But the Gatekeeper shotgun, one of the best shotguns of all time, was introduced in the season. The mythics and the battle pass were kind of from the season. Obviously, the Greek God season was pretty cool and everything, but overall, it it wasn't much of a season. It's not a season I would say, oh, it's the greatest season of all time. Just me looking at it, it's kind of one of those seasons where you have to shake your head and just go. I'm gonna say C tier. Chapter 5, Season 1. One of the best seasons, in my opinion. Honestly, one of the best seasons. Great battle pass. Peter Griffin was in the game. Everybody loved it. Jonesy was back. Great medallion. It was the first season where medallions were introduced into the game, which was very interesting mechanic, where the only issue was if you had all 5, it was a little too OP, and you basically got shield back instantly, which they fixed that later on in the season, where you had to have multiple medallions to get to 100 shield. You had to add all 5. But this is where medallions were introduced and new movement was introduced, mantling, climbing up walls, stuff like that. Everything was introduced. This is the season that occurred after OG Fortnite and everything. But overall, though, it was a pretty good season overall. Now, where would I put it? It's kind of a tough. For me, it's tough. I loved it personally, but I'm gonna be not biased here. I'm gonna say it's A tier. Now we are moving on to Season OG, the one of the considered greatest seasons of all time. It was also the shortest season of all time. It was 4 weeks, covered like 8 seasons. Great season, loved it. Everything about it was amazing. Brought back the old memories from when I was younger and everything. Great memories. Had fun time with my friends and everything. Overall, though, by the fan base, everybody loved it. Highest play rate in probably 2 or 3 years since Chapter 2, probably early Chapter 2. Probably the highest play rate ever with 2 million players. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have to give this one, I'm not going to say S tier because this is reserved, but this is high A tier. Like, if there's one level like in between goated, it's there. Next up, we have Chapter 4, Season 4. Great season, because this was a season where they brought back all of the OG mythic guns where you could use them again. So any of the guns from Chapter 2 and any of the mythics from the OG seasons, they brought them back in an action-packed season. It was when turrets were introduced. It was a great season overall. Now, this reminds me, yeah, Rocket Ram was in the season. That was pretty funny. Everything. Shield breakers were introduced. Everything. There was a lot of new mechanics in this season that were introduced. I'm going to be honest, it was a great season, but overall, it was one of those, it was one of those seasons. So for me, it's tough. For me, it's got to be C tier. I'm being harsh here, but it's behind. It's definitely ahead of Chapter 5 Season 2. Into Chapter 4 Season 3. Honestly, one of the worst seasons of all time. Obviously, like everything was cool, like you could go on vines and everything, but honestly, it was a pretty mid-season. They had the Havoc shotgun, which was way too OP. They had this thing, which is like super stupid, by the way. I don't even know why they put that in. Then they had the Raptors. They would just run around and just attack you randomly. It was kind of lame. But this is when heat signatures was introduced into the game and everything. But I got to be honest here. This was a very mid-season because I just don't see the fan base did not like it. Me personally, I didn't like it. It was when Chapter 4 was on a downward spiral a little bit. It kind of downward spiraled into Chapter 4. And it was Season 4 and 3. It's kind of an season. Me personally, I'm saying trash. Now we move into one of my favorite seasons of all time. Chapter 4, Season 2 is when Mega City was introduced into the game. And this is one of the greatest POIs in the history of Fortnite. It had rails where you could just ride around. It was just fun to just hang around in Mega City. It had bikes, cars, everything. You could sit on bikes. Most of all, though, it had bosses too. You could kill bosses for weapons. And this is when swords were in the game. So many good things about this season were amazing to me. Now, for me it's hard for me not to be biased in this season, but I think people can agree with me that this was a great season, great weapons, great everything, great islands, balanced weapons, pretty balanced overall. But now for me personally, this is GOATed. People might disagree with me, but it is worthy of the GOATed title. It has some of the greatest POI locations of all time, by far. Amazing place to go. Amazing place to land. I loved Mega City. I just landed there all the time. For me, I liked it more than Tilted, honestly. More memories laying in Mega City than Tilted. I would love to go back there. All right, we're hitting a time machine. Back to Chapter 4, Season 1, the beginning of Chapter 4. To most people, with hammers being introduced, one of the greatest seasons of all time, by far, and probably better than half of Chapter 3. But this season alone probably is the best season of Chapter 4 and maybe best season of Chapter 3 and 4. There's so much for me. I'm going to say this because I know fan base will agree with me. This is a GOATed season. One of the greatest seasons of all time, by far. All right, next up, we are moving into Chapter 3, Season 4. We're starting to hit territory of chapters I completely forgot about. For me, this season, just short and sweet, was a little bit different. It was pretty bad overall. I'm gonna put it at trash, high trash right now. All right, we are moving on to the Vibin season, Chapter 3, Season 3. I have a lot of memories in this season, specifically that. Going up to the top of that, don't even remember what that was. A lot of this I don't remember. But I remember this was when Vader was introduced into the Battle Pass, and they brought back ballers for this season where you could go around the tracks again a little bit like you could in the OG days. But Vader was in the Battle Pass, and there was an underground POI, which was this location. It's kind of a party place a little bit. For me, this was a good season. I'm gonna give it a pretty good rating here. And I'm gonna say B tier. I'm gonna say it's B tier for now. I might move it interchangeably. We'll see, but I'll put it there for now. All right, we're moving into the Resistance season. Sorry, Chapter 3, Season 2. I'm gonna be honest. I did not play very much of this chapter, but what I do remember is that there was tanks, and there were so many vehicles that you could drive around. This is when like the bus was introduced and everything to shoot on the bus. It's got it. I'm gonna put it at C tier for now. Moving into one of the greatest seasons of all time, Chapter 3 Flipped, which was the beginning of Chapter 3. It was a great season with the Spider-Man gloves, which was probably the highlight of the season. It had a great map, Condo Canyon. I remember all these places. Great emote, everything. Looking at this right now, Colombo alone for me makes this a good season. This is the best season that we have encountered by far. All right, moving into Chapter 2. Chapter 2, Season 8. And we all know this as one of the most annoying seasons, which was also one of the most interesting seasons, when aliens came and invaded the Earth. And there were spaceships, there were interesting skins, there was turrets. Carnage came into the game. There was a really good battle pass. Great season overall. I'm gonna put this at B tier. I think it's worthy of it. I'm gonna put it behind Vader Chapter 3 Season 3. Chapter 2 Season 7 Invasion. When these annoying things were in the air. Oh my gosh, this was a fun season. This is the season I came back and you had a customizable alien skin with about 30 different things you could add to it with different attachments. You could switch and swap everything. It was like Skylander Swap Force, bro. Morty was in the bro. This was so funny. Such a funny skin that was introduced. But this was so annoying. You could pick cars up, pick players up, drop them, kill them. Just shoot them. I don't remember Superman being in this. Honestly, I don't remember this about Superman. Great season. I'm gonna have to give this one a mid B tier. It was a good season overall. Chapter 2, Season 6. I did watch a lot of videos on the season. I can tell people like this season overall. It was a good season. It's a season. This is one of those forgotten seasons that you actually forget about. Like you forget about the battle pass and you forget about the season overall. I'm gonna give this one a quick judge, and I'm gonna throw this in B tier. Chapter 2, Season 5, Mandalorian season. One of the best seasons and favorite seasons when Mandalorian came to the game. This is a very beautiful map with interesting colors, honestly. Doing a quick judge, I'm gonna give this season A tier because that's truly what it is. It's literally A tier. This is literally the first Marvel season and Marvel collab when Galactus was the main villain and it had one of the greatest events of all time. Besides, like I'm gonna say greatest event of all time. The Galactus event was one of the best seasons of all time, where you fought Galactus at the end of the season. With the battle pass and everything, this is really really close between Chapter 3 Season 1, Chapter 2 Season 4. These are really really close. But I know people are gonna get mad at me if I don't put this at number 1 right now, so I'm doing it right now. Chapter 2 Season 3, one of my favorite seasons of all time. It has to be top 5 or 6. It's definitely top 10 for me. It had Kit's charge shotgun and shockwave launcher. This is when Aquaman came to. Aquaman was in the season. I completely forgot about this. For me, this is easy to judge. This is goated, but this goes behind. I think this goes behind Chapter 3, Season 1. We are moving into the COVID season. The Fortnite season that saved COVID. The best, I would say, the best season of all time. Probably no argument there. Unless you are a literal Chapter 1 biased player, Fortnite player, sorry. But by far, best POIs, best locations, best battle pass, best mythic characters, and you had an opportunity to choose between Ghost and Shadow. And this is when the agency was in the game, the Shark was in the game, Sky was in the game, with their grappler, and Myasticles was in the game. Later on, it was actually Deadpool who came into the game. So many characters. Tino is in the game. Midas with his drum gun. For me, this is the easiest choice. I'm putting this at number 1, and nothing might not top it. For most people's lists, not even mine, this is the best season ever. No question. Chapter 2, Season 1. This is when fishing and swimming was introduced. An entirely new island, new mechanics. There was a broken way to heal yourself in Slurpy Swamp. But there is one issue. How many days did the season go? It was the longest season of all time. Season almost lasting for a year and a half before Chapter 2 came out. This was the beginning of COVID. This was kind of the beginning of COVID. And this season, because it would have been A tier if it didn't go for so long, but this is bumped all the way down to C tier. Because, yes, the season was good. Great locations, great places to go, everything. But gotta be realistic here because the season was too long. They didn't transition, and Fortnite was in a casual and fate area. Now, we are getting to another season that doesn't even deserve to be talked about. Season X. Second worst season of all time. One of my least favorite seasons of all time. Right in front of Chapter 5, Season 3. Wow, that is not a... Alright, we are moving into Chapter 1. So we are starting at Season 9, because this is a worthy season to talk about. We are heading into the OG skins, OG look, Tilted, you name it, Lazy Lake, you name it. The old season, but this battle pass was amazing. Great skins, great. I love this skin. This is a great skin. Behind possibly Chapter 5, Season 4, because Chapter 5, Season 4 could be goated. You never know. I don't know. Season 8 of Chapter 1. This was a pirate-related season, as it was also a glacier season. But this had one of the best skins ever to touch the game, which is this skin right here. This is a skin I wish I would have gotten, but I did not have at the current time in the game, which is really unfortunate. Season belongs in B tier. Chapter 1, Season 7. Planes were introduced. Probably one of my favorite seasons of all time. I love this season. Although I wasn't the biggest fan of the Battle Pass, me personally, but Quad Crashers, that was so fun. Remember, there were great weapons this season. There were a lot of great items you could buy in the item shop. Great Battle Pass and everything. But the Ice King was so sick. But my favorite part is just flying around the planes. Get one of your friends flies a plane, you just shoot on the plane. This was just peak Fortnite right here. Perfect season. S tier. I think it belongs actually in front of Chapter 4, Season 1. All right, season 6. I'm gonna be honest. This was a season I don't remember at all. I don't remember if I played the season. Say for this, I'm gonna give benefit of the doubt. Say this is a B tier season, or maybe A tier. Season 5, one of the best seasons ever, with Loot Lake being the game and llamas. Oh, this. Oh my gosh. Oh, just watching this brings back memories, bro. Doesn't have the camera, so I put chapter 3 season. I didn't swap my camera. I put chapter yeah. I put season 5 in like the middle right here. Season 4 of Fortnite, one of the best seasons, right? And the best skins right here. Oh my goodness. There are so many skins I wish I could have owned, but this is definitely like top 3 on my list of skins I wish I could have gotten. Season 4, easy, goes here. Honestly, cannot find a trailer for season 3. I don't know if they did trailers for 1, 2, and 3, but I cannot find a trailer for it. Based off that, besides the fact that it had some decent skins, I do remember it had a really, this battle pass was really cool with like the space skins and everything. I'm gonna say and give this a nice little A tier because it was a good season overall. Now, talking about season 2, after season 1, which was kind of the test season a little bit, kind of like not very many mechanics. It wasn't a very interesting season. Season 2, top 3 all time, probably goes right here behind Iron Man's season, straight up. And then I will take this because it was okay. If one of you seriously come into the comments and say season 1 belongs anywhere above B tier, you're crazy. Such a boring season. Besides Renegade Raider, there was nothing there in that season. But yeah, I think this is a pretty valid list, at least for me. You got the 4 worst seasons of all time down here. You obviously got the worst one. Don't get me wrong, this is the worst one. I have them ranked in order based off best to worst, best up here to worst down here. So, thank you all for watching. And I'm trying to post more content, like actual videos. Like I've been just doing a lot of live streams because I've been streaming a lot of competitive Fortnite and stuff like that. But I'm getting back on the grind because I am working on a Pokemon playthrough right now. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for taking time to sit through. If you're here with me at the very end of this video, if you watch this whole thing through, type in chat, type in the comments, watched. And don't say anything else. If someone responds to your comment, it just doesn't make any sense. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.